mi ò répo rà ìjà tó ń lọ ní Iran. No. Àfà ẹ má sọ yẹn. Ẹ wo ilé epo tí mo ti yà nísìnyí. Iye tó ń gbélé yẹn ti pọ̀ jù. Ṣèbí Dangote ti kó rọrùn wá díẹ̀. Ó jẹ́ jẹ́ pé láti one something. À ń rà ní 1,000 naira. Ìgbẹ́ rírọ̀ ní Nàìjíríà máa kó a ò láìkì ìgbẹ́ tó le. Ẹ má bá mi sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ máa fà ẹ ní sùúrù jàre. Ó jà lọ́kùtù Monday. Ogun tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́ ní Iran àti Israel ní Middle East, òun lépo yẹn fi wá sókè gbọ̀n. Mi ò dẹ̀ lè gbé yín yà sí aláìsàlátù láàárọ̀. No! Obìnrin ló ń ṣe aláìsàlátù. Àbí kílẹ̀ lẹ́fẹ̀ẹ́ lọ ṣe? Ẹ fẹ́ lọ ganu sí ìkómọ. Ẹjọ́ mi ò. Eléyìí tẹ́ ẹ ganu sí last week níbi òkú. Kí ló dọ́dọ̀ mi ni? Máa gbẹ̀ gbẹ̀rọ ewé epo mi. Ẹ wá wò. Kò ju 52 miles tó máa rìn péré. Ibi tẹ́ẹ̀dẹ̀ ń lọ mo dẹ̀ check ẹ̀. Ó ń lọ síbi 60 miles. Àdúgbò yẹn kẹ̀dẹ̀rẹ́ no go ní area ni. Mi ò lọ. Oye jẹ́ nìyẹn bá ti dé òkè kínní, màá já yín lẹ̀. Mi á lọ repo ní ibi tọ́wọ́ mi á ti ká. Ẹ lè push mi kí n lọ repo. Ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín. Àmọ̀ràn yín dáa ṣùgbọ́n kò ṣeé tẹ̀lé. Àmọ̀ràn yín dáa àfà kò ṣeé tẹ̀lé. Àfà ẹ tiẹ̀ jẹ́ ká fi yẹn lẹ̀. Ṣẹ́rí tí àwọn èèyàn bá sọ pé àwọn kan wà ní IDP camp ní gbogbo ìlú ni. Béèyàn ò bá sí IDP camp tìjọba, á wà ní IDP camp gbèsè, àìríjẹ, àìríná àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà. Ní ìlú nínú bàbá wa ilẹ̀ tiwa nìyẹn o. Ara ń ni àwọn èèyàn. Any solution? Solution wà, wọn ò fẹ́ ṣe é nì. Ẹ gbàgbọ́ nú Tinubu, èmi náà gbàgbọ́ pé but kókó ni wípé ká máa kígbe tọ̀sán tòru. Ìyá mi tó jùn tó ṣùọ̀, Happy Father's Day, ẹ tún mi kí ẹ ṣe jàre, kò dín bàjẹ́. Àwọn kan wà lórí ìkànnì wọn ní kíyàn Happy Father's Day. Bóyá inú bàbá ń bí wọn ni kò yé mi. Ó ní ò jẹ́ kí n ṣe program. Mo ń wòye ẹni tó máa kí wa fún Happy Father's Day. Ẹ̀yin bàbá gidi. Bàbá tí ò pẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ́. Àwọn bàbá tó ti pẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ́ we no greet you. Àwọn bàbá gidi, àwọn original bàbá. Àwọn bàbá tá wọ́n bá lé. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ, ẹ má kẹ̀yìn sí bàbá yín. Ìyá yìí ló kàn jẹ́ kí n sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́bẹ̀ yẹn bọ̀ kọ́ mú lọ láàárọ̀ yìí. Ẹ̀yin obìnrin, ẹ má kẹ̀yìn àwọn ọmọ. Má kẹ̀yìn àwọn ọmọ ẹ sáwọn bàbá ẹ̀. Ní bàjẹ́ fún yín o. Mo dúpẹ́ ìyá mi. So ọ̀rọ̀ tí mò ń bá bọ̀ bóyá ìyá mi IDP camp ti pọ̀ nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ó ti pọ̀ jù. Ṣé ẹ rí ọmọkùnrin tán pè ní Ibrahim Traoré ní Burkina Faso? Ó sọ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ kan. Ó wá dárúkọ Nàìjíríà. Ojú dẹ̀ gbà méjì. Mélòó ní Burkina Faso? Wọn ò pé 50 million. Kí ni wọ́n ní? Wọn ò ní ocean kan tó bí pé wọ́n ṣe kíní. Wọ́n bá dẹ̀ ní ocean ẹjọ́ ẹ jẹ́ kí n mọ̀. Lára àwọn landlocked countries wọ̀nyí ni mo rò pé ó jẹ́. You can imagine. Ó fi bẹnu ẹ̀ tẹ́lu Nàìjíríà. Wọ́n ní ọ̀pọ̀ èèyàn ló ń kú ní hospital Nàìjíríà because of no electricity. Ṣé ó parọ́ àbúṣọ ọ̀tọ̀? Torí àwọn kan á máa kú. Solution dẹ̀ wà àfà bí mo yẹ sọ. Solution ẹ̀ ń wò wájú yìí. Ẹni níbo ni Ibrahim Traoré ti bẹnu àtẹ́lu Nàìjíríà? Ẹ fẹ́ fi ti yín gbọ́. Mo ń bọ̀. Ẹ gbọ́ nǹkan tọmọkùnrin yẹn sọ.
Democrats need to understand this. When Thousands of Nigerians died in their hospital beds
Chebo,
due to
thousands of
lack of
Nigerians.
electricity or lack of medicine.
Chebo.
It is a crime. These so-called Democrats need to understand this. When thousands of Nigerians died in
These so-called democratics, iná ò lọ náà, iná ò lọ China, iná ò lọ ní what is it called? Ní Russia. Àwa tá a wá tẹ̀lé àwọn Sombi no dey push unless you tell am to push Sombi. Sombi no go unless you tell am to go Sombi. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ojú tó yọbọ́ dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé Democrat lòun. Nígbà tẹ́ ń jà fún democracy, ẹ wo ikú tán ń pa wọ́n ní Benue. Àwọn tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ state security advisers yín gbogbo tán wà nídìí kíní adaran ni wọ́n, ẹ ò yọ wọ́n kúrò ńbẹ̀. Solution ó easy. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ Ibrahim tó rí tán kí sọ solution yẹn fún bàbá àfáà tó ń jarun pa mi lẹ́yìn mi bíbá.
hospital beds due to lack of electricity or lack of medicine. It is a crime. They are responsible for these sanctions. They are responsible for these deaths. The same thing is happening in Mali. With Burkina, we have indirect sanctions because people need to understand. When they understand, there are instructions from the other side. They come, they do everything to apply it. It's shameful. Some have decided not to supply electricity to our countries. It's not free, we pay for it. And it contributes to their economy. They tried to make Mali suffer. And of course, by ignoring all the agreements and no longer providing electricity to Mali, hoping that the population would revolt, it doesn't work. When it lasted, some were forced to make their own people pay by increasing the cost of electricity.
Tí ó parọ́ mọ́ wa, ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ojú tó yọbọ́ tí ò fọ́. Ẹni tó wà ní Minister for Power yìí, ọmọ Yorùbá ni o. Wá ní Adélabú lórúkọ ọmọ Yorùbá. Ó tún sọ pé wọ́n ti máa increase ẹ̀. Ibrahim tọ́rẹ́ máa gbọ́, wọ́n ì máa increase owó iná yẹn. Ìgbà tí ẹ bá kó revolution sílẹ̀, tẹ́ ẹ̀ rí ibi kun jẹ́ ti yín mọ́.
It will increase again. This gives us several lessons. Several lessons in the sense that the independence we take, the sovereignty we take, we must do everything to ensure it. They have given us very good lessons.
Jerry, ọmọ tí ò pé 40 years. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ojú tó yọbọ́ tí ò fọ́, ẹ̀ ń celebrate ṣé 80 àbí 70 torí àmọ́ èjì yín báyìí. Ọlọ́run nìkan ló mọ èjì ẹ̀gbọ́n mi. Jésù Ọlọ́run nìkan ló mọ̀. Wàá dẹ̀gùn lẹ́mìí kò sí ní tó máa ṣe ẹ́. Ní tó wá ṣe ní Nàìjíríà kó devolve power solution ẹyọ kan péré. Ẹ̀gbọ́n, nǹkan ń kán Nàìjíríà o. Àwọn mo sọ́njọ́ sí mo ní àwọn tí ẹ̀gbọ́n kó mọ́ra mo ní ìkà ló kó mọ́ra o. Wọn ò fìdí ẹ̀ ní òótọ́, irọ́ ni wọ́n ń sọ fún, èké irọ́ ni wọ́n ń sọ fún. Ikú tó ń kún Benue tó ń pààyàn káàkiri, ẹ̀gbọ́n ò gbọ́. Nǹkan tó bá fẹ́ kó gbọ́ ló máa gbọ́. Ẹ̀gbọ́n nǹkan táwọn ará Benue àwọn tí ikú òjijì tó wọlé bá wọn. Nigeria, are we at war?
People. And I want to use the opportunity to inform the international public, the Vatican, the well-meaning people all over the world that Benue State is under siege. This is a pogrom of our people. A genocide is taking place. There's a war against our people. And Mr. President, I want to use this opportunity to emphasize the fact that there's a war against people in a part of your country. Let me say that yesterday, there's an age-old adage, even in several cultures, that you cannot beat people up and stop, or cannot beat a child up and stop the child from crying. When our people cried out, when we embarked upon our legitimate constitutional duty to protest, we were confronted with tear gas, with scores of personnel who from nowhere came out, who are not able to confront these killers but are able to confront protesters. We saw helicopters hovering.
Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ò títí yọ bọ́jú òfò. This is a good question you should ask your security personnel. Are we on democracy or autocracy? I don't know. Don't let these people destroy your name. Àwọn Fúlàní àwọn adarán yìí, tí wọ́n bá ti mọ̀ wípé wọ́n wà west part of Nigeria tí ò bá ti ṣàwọn ló wà ní power, tó ń pa kúkúrú, tó ń pa gúngùn, bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ṣe fún Jonathan. Jonathan wá ṣe àwọn àgbákàmọ́ mistake kan, ó ń wá second time. Same thing ni Ọbásanjọ́ tó ń ké ká tó sọ pé democracy ò dáa, ó dẹ̀ jẹ gbádùn democracy, ó jẹ tológun, Ọbásanjọ́ ó ní àǹfààní tó pọ̀ jù. Ọbásanjọ́ gáàgì ẹ̀gbọ́n Ojúyọbọ nígbà tó jẹ́ gómìnà ìlú Èkó, gbogbo wa la dúró tiẹ̀. Ọlọ́run ti wá ṣe é nìyẹn, ó ti wá bọ́ síbẹ̀ báyìí. Devolve power ìsà. Àwọn tó kó tira eléṣù ló pọ̀ ní Nàìjíríà jù. Àwọn senators, in your Monday we can sọ national anthem, can sọ di Ọ̀yọ́ mandate. Má jẹ́ kán ba orúkọ ẹ̀ jẹ́. Ìtàn máa sọ nípa ẹ̀. Ìtàn ò gbàgbé Abacha, ìtàn ò gbàgbé Buhari, ìtàn ò gbàgbé Gowon. Ìlú Gowon náà ti ń pa wọ́n pàkúwà. Ìlú David Mark, ìtàn ò gbàgbé wọn nígbà tó ń wà ń bẹ̀. Constitution yìí tó yẹ kán ṣe nǹkan tó yẹ kán ṣe sí. Ìlú Ọbásanjọ́ náà, àìmọye àwọn èèyàn tó ti sá kúrò níbi tán ti ń ṣoko, tán ti sá kúrò ń lù fún wọn. Ìtàn ò gbàgbé Akérédolú lónìí o, Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn tó gbé sórí tọkàntara, òun náà làwọn èèyàn ẹ̀ bá ṣe. Ìtàn ò ní gbàgbé, ìtàn ò gbàgbé ojúde ọba, àwọn balógun tó dá sílẹ̀. Ìtàn ò ní gbàgbé ẹ̀gbọ́n, ìtàn ò gbàgbé obìnrin takuntakun Kútì, ìtàn ò ní gbàgbé. Ìtàn ò ní gbàgbé ẹ kó gbogbo ilẹ̀, ìyàwó ẹ̀ sọ pé àwọn ò ní ìdòwò Nàìjíríà, wọn náà olówó lọ ju Ọ̀ṣun lọ, kí la gbé kí la jù. Ọdún mẹ́rin díẹ̀ tó ní nǹkan, ọdún mẹ́rin náà tó. Ọdún mẹ́rin ti tó, kò sí nǹkan tó fẹ́ fẹ́ ọdún mẹ́jọ ṣe ẹ̀gbọ́n. Eléyìí tó kù hílàhílo ló máa bá dé. Hílàhílo, ṣé kẹ̀dẹ̀ rí Ọlọ́run ló dẹ̀ lọ́lá. Ẹ máa gbọ́ bọ́n ṣe ń pa àwọn èèyàn. Níbo làwọn security personnel ti jáde táwọn legitimate right wọn tán protest ní Benue, tẹ rò wípé kẹ lọ fi helicopter yẹn ń bo ló wà nígbà tó ń pa àwọn èèyàn for hours. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ nǹkan tí mò ń yẹn sọ. For hours wọn ò rí àwọn security personnel. Ẹ̀gbọ́n, wọ́n fìdí ẹni fake.
Hovering over protesters, helicopters that we did not see go to Yelwata and intercept the people. So we're concerned about what is happening. Some of us have waited and have given the president, the governor, the benefit of doubt to intervene. But after 2 years, we cannot keep quiet anymore, including those who were declared as representatives of the people. 2 years later, and nothing seems to be happening. I have to point out immediately now what was shocking and of a concern to me in the statement made by Mr. President. And let me quote very clearly. Mr. President, first of all, mentioned that he has asked that an implementation of his earlier directive, meaning he gave an initial directive that apparently was not followed. He has to now give a follow-up directive. That is one. Number two, he is saying that in the latest round of reprisal attacks, Mr. President, it appears as if some people are not giving you the right information. Mr. President is being
Exactly. That's what I'm
misinformed
saying.
and ill-advised.
That's my
There's no
concern.
such thing as
You run on
reprisal attacks
passing.
going on. Our people are under siege. Mr. President asked the governor to convene reconciliation meetings and dialogue among warring communities, warring parties. Those are the words used by Bayo Onanuga. And then seek harmonious existence between farmers, herders, and communities. I'm aware that there seems to be a lot of sycophancy in the country right now. So, Mr. President, with all due respect, if you need to be told the truth, you can ask us, the people. Some of us can come and tell you what is actually going on. You can liaise with our governor. I believe he should be honest enough to tell you the truth. There's no such thing as reprisal attacks. If you say seek harmonious relationship and have reconciliation meetings, that means, Mr. President, you know who has attacked us. That
Amen.
means the
Yes.
governor knows
That
who has attacked us and he's
one on
supposed to
one.
call them together for a meeting.
Okay.
Eh?
Is that what is
One on
being
one now.
told? Because that is what I deduce from that statement. And that, I believe, is disingenuous to the situation. There is no such thing as reprisal attacks, I'll repeat for the umpteenth time. These are premeditated, unprovoked attacks against the people. I know that recently, Mieti Allah made a public statement claiming that one of their members was killed
And
and
what
that
sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ọ̀dọ́ ọlọ́run sí
1,000 of their
Nàìjíríà.
cows or so
Ní ń wò
were
wọ́n, wọ́n ti pa
rustled.
àwọn ẹ̀dẹ̀ ń wò wọ́n. Ibi kankan
Immediately
ni
I
ìbọn ti
heard
wá.
that, I knew that something like this was going to happen. And I wonder where our security agents are. Where is the intelligence when they do not know? It is always reactive and
Ask
not
them.
proactive.
We don't know where they
And when
do.
it happened, I said, this is exactly
Now
what
you
I
can
knew would
disturb the
happen.
protesters. Oh.
Because
You get the
maybe
copter.
this is the wrong narrative
Tear gas.
that Mr. President is
Now
being
the person
fed.
power they
The
engage
question
the
is,
unarmed
in Naka,
citizen.
in
But the people
Gwewas
where they
local
ask
government, in
themselves,
Ondana,
now they
how
run away
many
from them.
Makban members were killed?
So crazy.
How many cows were rustled there?
Okay. We need to come to you. You've been able to cite one side. Let's
People. And I want to use the opportunity.
Me, I dey talk. I know, say, na Adala na dem dey behind all this. They want destroy Egmon's legacy. And they go destroy am. No how, no how. Buhari na him say make them carry all these Adala them. Boko Haram, Iswap, make them do wetin. Make we do forgive for them. And after we forgive them, they don't become saints. Come join us in APC. Join the military. Then they there. And them. And then they do all this kind of thing. And Egban know. But the thing with them, they my Egban, Bajabi Amira, where you call people where they seek their own self-determination terrorists. What you go call all these people now? And you be the chief officer, be waiting and they call him for my Egban. Why you dey gag Egban now, Bajabi Amila? Why you dey gag am? If Egban come out today in that seat, put Yoruba in trouble without devolution of power. Kudos to Agbakoba. Kudos to you, sir. He emphasized, you don't know you are the most powerful president in Nigeria. Why are you doing this to us, Egban Ojuobo? Why now? Waiting we do you now.
The president of Nigeria is the chief executive
Solution.
officer of the country by virtue of Section 5 of the Constitution. So it's for the president of Nigeria to realize that the country needs to be, to use the word that I used before, rejigged, or power should devolve. And one way of doing it is to put it to debate. You know, people have been calling for a sovereign national conference. Now, you can't have a sovereign national conference because you have the National Assembly. But if it's put to debate, I'm sure that the answer would be that the local government needs to have autonomy out of the states. That debate has not occurred. So what has happened is that the state governors see the local government as easy sources of revenue. They go to Abuja, collect this revenue for the states, and it doesn't pass down. And so the states are, it doesn't pass down to the local governments. And so the local governments are starved of the very funds that would enable them provide the basic services that is needed to operate at local government level. That's the problem. I can't see what is wrong with that. Honestly, I can't see what is wrong with the local government that is consecrated by Section 7 of the Constitution as a democratically elected third tier of government, doing the very basic things that we expect local governments to do. For instance, I got married in the marriage registry controlled by the federal government.
Imagine.
What is the business of the federal government with marriage?
Oh, well.
What is the business of the federal government with driver's license? What is the business of the federal government with education? Even though what Trump is doing seems scattered, there's some sense in what he's doing. You know, he's abolishing the DOE, the Department of Education, because education is a state matter. Not only is it a state matter, it's also a local government matter. So if the federal government can concentrate on areas of its own specialization, things that bind us together, defense, justice, central bank, money, some of these issues that concern us, and then leave the other things for the state and local governments, I think Nigeria will be a lot better for it. That's my view.
But in all of this, why is it that people advocate before when they are outside of power? And when they get into power, the advocacy seems to die. And because those who are in the APC today were the greatest advocates of restructuring of Nigeria since 2015.
I don't know.
There's a quiet silence on restructuring. All of a sudden, Nigeria doesn't need restructuring. But they told us under the Buhari government that they are doing gradual restructuring. Gradual restructuring. Is restructuring such a disease that is difficult to extract from the system? What is the easiest way to achieve this restructuring?
It's a precedent. It's a precedent. The buck stops at the table of the president.
But Dr. Abakuba, does it look like if a president exerts his power and take a move to restructure Nigeria or the country, will it affect, because the power of the president, Nigeria's president is one of the most powerful persons in the world, considering the kind of enormous powers.
So this word of restructuring, you don't get about destruction and the devolution of power. Make them devolve, make everybody. If we devolve power today, people, I trust them, they will thrive. Bam. Because they are industrialized in mind. Everything. Even self in a fake in still they do. China do fake as well. Fake. As time goes on, upgrading will come. Yoruba land, to say that this we know, we go do our thing. That's what we have been doing. For not. If they say that killing them, go kill themselves, they go kill themselves. Everybody knows, if you kill themselves to the stage, some of them go wake up and say, it ain't power, it's to so now, the thing will come get sense. But now, no get sense. It don't mess up now. Waiting now, waiting now. Why would they look for another year? Why now? People like this should tell us so.
Available to a Nigeria's president.
Yes.
So there are those who imagine that those kind of power, you don't want to reduce it. If you restructure Nigeria, you take away those power. Is that one of the reasons, or what exactly?
I don't know, to be honest with you. Absolutely no idea, except that I know that the president of Nigeria has the power to do exactly what I'm saying. And when the president approached the Supreme Court, people didn't believe that the case would succeed. And people didn't even believe that the case would succeed against the opposition of state governors. But it succeeded. So the president has already gone halfway. In granting financial autonomy to the local governments, it's a lot easier than to also grant them legislative authority. So what I urge President Tinubu to do on the occasion of June 12 is to go the whole mile. You've done half the journey. Now, create an amendment to the Constitution that will give local governments the political autonomy to govern their local government areas. It's as simple as that. It's not rocket science. And the president of Nigeria is the chief executive. Nobody can challenge him.
Does President Bola Tinubu have the political will? Does it look like the person that has a political will to make it happen? Because it looks like the rejigging you are talking about is an Eldorado. It's going to be a somewhat kind of Uhuru for us. And it's going to take us somewhere. It might not take us to our final destination, but at least it leads us to a far end of our journey to a nation that we all dreamt about. But does the President Bola Tinubu, the man that you know so much, does he have the political will to make it happen now?
Why not? Why did he run for office? He ran for office for the good well-being and prosperity of Nigerians. And if to do that will enhance the prosperity of Nigerians, who, by the way, 200 million of them live at the local government level, why not? He's the president of Nigeria. He ran for our votes. He got the votes. He's the president, and this is a right thing to do. So I will encourage him to do that. Otherwise, why did he run for office? He ran for office to make Nigeria a better place. So what is the problem? I don't see it at all.
Let me take you quickly. I'll come back to the issue of governance and some of the issues relating to the nation, but let me take you back to yesterday on some of the issues that happened.
Yes.
There are those who will applaud President Buhari for apologizing on behalf of the nation to those who died, those who were injured, those who were in prison, those who lost loved ones in and out that election of June 12, 1993 went. Kudos to him and recognition in 2018 of that election. And also President Bola Tinubu, that those who applaud him, the recognition of the likes of Femi Falana, Dapo Yomi, and the rest. Are you one of those who applaud the president of that kind of move?
Yes.
Although someone like you, your name was obviously missing there. And there are several other names that are missing. I jotted a few names that I think also could have been imputed. Dele Momodu could have been one. He was part of the Radio Kudrat.
Yes.
Chief GOK Ajayi could have been one. Honorable Abiodun Ojodu, Omoyele Showore, he was the student union leader in Unilag at the time. Late Baba Omojola, Ayodele Akele, Mayegun Ademola Adele, a lot of them are there. Right?
Sure. No, see the way I'll put it. I start by applauding the president for what he did. But I would also use this opportunity to say,
President Bola Tinubu, 2 years are gone. Half of your constitutional mandate spent navigating the stormy waters of reform, resistance, and rising hardship. You came to office promising a renewed hope agenda, telling Nigerians that the pain would be temporary, like that of a childbirth, and that joy would follow. But 2 years in, the cries have grown perhaps louder, and many now wonder, when will the joy come? Inflation surged, food inflation went to an all-time height, transport costs were tripled, and the average Nigerian now spends more of their income just to eat, as if they are lucky. Petrol is hovering over 700 naira per litre, and electricity tariffs have risen even as supply is still very erratic. And yet, the Nigerian people, resilient, loyal, enduring, have held on. But holding on cannot be the national plan. You promised to lift millions out of poverty, create thousands of digital jobs in 24 months, and double power generation. These were not poetic aspirations. They were campaign commitments. Mr. President, time is not on your side. You have just 12 months before the political season begins to whisper again. If ever there was a time to show the fruits of sacrifice, it is now. You are the president of both your lovers and your loudest critics, the hopefuls who sang your name at the polls and the skeptics who prayed you will fail. But leadership demands maturity of mind and empathy of heart. You now preside over a fractured but hopeful nation. Good people, bad politics, and an ugly economy. Nigeria today is at a historic inflection point. Mismanage these opportunities, sir, and we risk descending into a cycle of unrest, disillusionment, and regret. But if you rise, Mr. President, to the moment, and you could become a defining leader, one whose name is etched in gold as a man who brought Nigeria back from the brink, you must ignore sycophants who clap in darkness while citizens cry in daylight. Mr. President, please urgently surround yourself with thinkers, doers, and patriots, not just loyalists. Every day must count. Every decision must deliver value. Because when a nation suffers this deeply, there is no luxury of time or ego. No more excuses. President Bola Tinubu, we in the media, we will do our own part. We will question, probe, inform, and hold you accountable, not out of hostility, but out of duty. The opposition must also rise, not just to criticize, but to push this country forward. Civil society organization must now organize, awaken consciences, and be the voice of the voiceless. And our
ẹ̀yin òṣèré, ẹ̀yin celebrities, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń gbọ́yàn síta, tẹ́ ń jápalé everybody ń ṣe. Ta lè tọ̀nà yín fọmọ Fúlàní, fọmọ Ìgbò. Pálábá níwájú kò mọ̀ lẹ́yìn ọ̀run. Àwa tá ń jìjàǹgbara freedom Yorùbá. Tá ń sọ fún yín wípé nǹkan tẹ́ ń ṣe ò kì í ṣọ̀nà. Bá tẹ́ ń jiyàn. Ẹ̀rí rálì tẹ́ ń ṣe bó ṣe ń lọ wẹ́lẹ́wẹ́lẹ́wẹ́lẹ́wẹ́lẹ́ tí gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe ń rọ́ kìkìkìkì. Ẹ̀rí bó ṣe ń rọ́ tó. Tó bá pẹ́ tó bá yá, ọ̀bọ tó wà ń Dànrè. Agbọ́n a ti mọ̀ pé irọ́ lẹ̀ ń pa tẹ́ ń gbowó lọ́wọ́ òun.